Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we have a ton to talk about. We're going to be addressing Ripple and XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of it. There's a lot to talk about. The main thing that we are going to be addressing is the big problem right now, right? Everyone's excited, everyone's happy about it, and this is usually what happens, right? Everyone gets excited, everyone's having a great time because it's making them money, but they are forgetting the cost of which they are paying for them to actually make money. I saw this happening around the Bitcoin maxi crowd, and I continued to see it around specific currencies, specifically Ethereum and XRP, right? So let's actually address what I'm addressing. Just in, BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF now holds over $10 billion worth of assets, aka Bitcoin. It's the fastest an ETF has reached such a milestone. Now, again, on one hand, you're thinking, well, this is very bullish. It's pushing the price of Bitcoin up. It's pushing the price of altcoins up. On the other hand, you have to think about what cost are we actually paying here? Because under BlackRock's belt, we know that they control majority of things around us. And I put out a warning around this a while back, which we will get to in this video, but I can't see how this is a good thing long term. Because short term, yes, we're making money off it. It's great. Everyone's happy about that. But what's the cost long term? Now over here, we also have BlackRock launches spot Bitcoin ETF in Brazil, continuing to expand and expand and expand. And then also, we recently got a full update from Eric, actually, and we have IBIT, the newest member of the $10 billion club, fastest ever to get there. Only 152 ETFs in this club out of 3,400, including, of course, Grayscale Bitcoin. First 10 billion so touched because so much has to come from flows. In IBIT's case, 78% of assets under management is flows. Second, 10 billion easier because market appreciation, bigger variable. So we got to $10 billion. The first one is tough because so much has to come from flows. But now that we hit 10 billion, the next 10 billion is going to happen extremely fast, which is also going to push the price, obviously, of Bitcoin up and most of the market. And we also have IBIT just dropped second straight 6 weeks or 6-piece last night, which countered Grayscale Bitcoin's 6-piece of outflows. And no, this is not the same amount of money and allowed for another positive net day. IBIT also is nursing the third longest current inflow streak after CowZ as well as CAP. And we also have the Bitcoin ETF flow, February 29th, 2024. Obviously now it is March 5th, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because data is crucial to understand. I want you all to focus on these inflows because they are significant. We will get to 20 billion, but the question is all of this sustainable? Is all of this great for long term? Well, I saw this video that got posted by XRP Drops, and we have this clip. It's from Fox Business, and the idea is it too early to say if Bitcoin trends towards centralization? Also see post below. And we also have blockchain runs by itself. No one can put dominion over it. The government can't. But when you start getting it centralized by having ownership like through an ETF, you are allowing powerful actors to have the ability to start dictating terms. But the idea is this is too early still. But the question is BlackRock our friends? No, they're not. We have a lot of people celebrating this as it's like a massive milestone, which is it? Yeah, it is. It's awesome to see. But is it awesome to see that this is by a name, aka BlackRock? I don't think so. But listen closely.
The whole idea, as you pointed out, is that this blockchain runs by itself. No one can put dominion over it. The government can't, bad actors can't. That's if it's running properly. And therefore, it provides a safe environment for anybody to hold their digital assets. But when you start getting it centralized by having ownership like through an ETF and others, you're allowing powerful actors to maybe have the ability to start dictating terms.
Centralization, decentralization. Is there any legitimacy to what Jim was worried about here?
Well, I think the best analogy to what he's speaking to is actually what we've seen in the gold market or other precious metals. People and investors can still buy gold directly, hold gold directly, but we've also seen a big innovation in ETFs with gold going into the ETF wrapper as recently as about 20 years ago. And both use cases still exist. Investors hold gold directly, they also get gold exposure through gold ETFs. In the Bitcoin world, we're seeing a very similar innovation where investors have and they may very well may continue to hold Bitcoin directly, but when it comes to adding it to their portfolios, maybe into their retirement accounts, it's hard to do that with Bitcoin directly. And so the Bitcoin ETF is really an innovation, really is a step forward. But I think it's a little too early to say that that trends towards centralization within what is obviously a very decentralized asset.
All right.
I personally see this as leading to centralization myself. But again, I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But I also put out my thought process on this. Initially, back in August, I said, I love how the argument from Bitcoin maxis around escaping CBDCs is simply holding Bitcoin. Today's Bitcoin versus 2009 Bitcoin is extremely different. I don't think the original idea of Bitcoin was celebrating and welcoming BlackRock to launch an ETF. Scared of being controlled by CBDCs, but not scared of a scarce asset that has practically priced retail out already, while one of the largest corporations file for a Bitcoin ETF, it makes zero sense to me. BlackRock owns the largest percentage of everything around you. Don't think they will own the largest percentage of Bitcoin either. Think again, Bitcoin will soon be corporation controlled. Now, a lot of people think that I'm crazy for saying that, but BlackRock already bought up over 2.5% of Bitcoin. And I actually think that now it's close to 5%. If this continues throughout the entire year, imagine what the ETF percentage of Bitcoin controlled is going to look like. Now, the big thing that I've been hearing is XRP ETF, and it's usually from these accounts that are also pushing the nonsense of XRP to $100 next week and XRP to this next week. I even said that I'm so tired of seeing this XRP ETF talk. Why would you even want an XRP ETF? I even mentioned this around the Bitcoin ETF. You are opening the door for the wolves to get in. These big Wall Street giants have manipulated markets for ages. Now you want to welcome them with open arms. It makes zero sense. And yes, like even as we look at the ETFs, they are great for price appreciation. But I don't think that we need to get desperate to the point of saying, hey, BlackRock, please come in and launch an XRP ETF so that we could have XRP controlled through an ETF. And it doesn't happen overnight, right? Like centralization of an asset through an ETF does not happen overnight. And I even think that that's why the CEO of Grayscale is saying like it's too early, because it is, right? We're not at that point in time where, the ETF volume for Bitcoin is over 50% of the supply, but I do think that we will get there eventually. And the same goes for even XRP as well, or even Ethereum through an ETF. Centralization and decentralization is definitely a big question, and it's a big concern, especially when you have names like BlackRock in on the game and even Wall Street. One of the biggest narratives that we were talking about during the time of ETFs becoming a hot topic was how the SEC and regulators were pushing the agenda around crypto to kind of give control to those names like BlackRock and Fidelity and the Wall Street giants, because they want those individuals to be the ones that are custodians for crypto, for digital assets. They don't want, Binance running the show. But again, centralized exchanges are not going to get cut off in an instant like that. They will continue to hold power, at least for the time being, until we have something from the SEC or regulators that are going to cut the exchanges off fully. But that won't happen until we have BlackRock launch a crypto exchange, or Wall Street giants starting to custodian crypto and push custodian apps around crypto buying and selling and trading. But regardless of this, there was also another post that got posted, and it was actually posted by Digital Asset Investor, and it was back in February, and it was a bombshell incoming. Wow. Now, obviously, this is a little bit clickbait, but We have mainstream financial media. The good news is that you've been able to successfully ignore and suppress the truth about ETHgate in the United States. The bad news is the world's a big place and other countries aren't going to lie and suppress the truth along with you. The truth is coming whether you and your handlers like it or not. Now, this was from that same mainstream media that was talking about XRP ETFs and things like that. Now, regardless, I'm not going to play this clip. It's about 9 minutes long plus. But as you guys do see, they had Steven Neryoff on the monitor in the background, and it was all regarding Ethereum. And it was the list of those people that got in on Ethereum early that were labeled as contributors, even though they were disguised ETH whales at the ICO. This is now seeing the light of day. This is going to continue to be a spotlighted topic. And we need more individuals actually putting a spotlight on this, because this is also a big concern around centralization. When we look at XRP, there's always the argument that, oh, Ripple controls half the supply. People that say that don't actually understand what the escrow is. They don't understand what the supply that Ripple holds actually is. If you do a quick Google search around XRP escrow explained, there's even a thing on the XRP Ledger website that fully breaks down how the escrow works. That supply is not fully controlled by Ripple. It's in a contract agreement on how the escrow actually works. You need to do more research when it comes to that. But when we look at Ethereum and specifically ETHgate around ICO disguised whales, and when we also look at Bitcoin, right? Because even before the ETF discussions around Bitcoin, there was also a discussion around centralization and decentralization because of miners and the ones that were actually controlling a large portion of the hash power around Bitcoin. When we look at Bitcoin, I really do think that there's a big misconception around how Bitcoin is the most decentralized project in the space. It's ridiculous. Doing a little bit of research around Bitcoin, it's becoming more and more centralized day by day. And Ethereum, we know that there's a big concern around Ethereum's centralization tag, and it's always going to be a concern until we have that full list. And in my opinion, I do think that Ethereum is centralized. I've talked about it in the past. But we have here from Truth Labs, media and legal interest around Ethereum's history are accelerating globally. Steven Neryoff and the Sleuths and I's revelations about the wrongdoings tied to the Ethereum Foundation and its conspirators, centralized nature, and CCP connections will soon shock the world. Much of my team's research has never been seen before, nor have I even suggested or talked about publicly much of what we've compiled, same with Stevens. Inquiries from media outlets, reporters, journalists, podcasts, and more have been rapidly accelerating. I'm currently fielding multiple requests daily. It is to the point where it's been difficult to keep up. Good things come to those that wait and execute. A shift in power is coming. 2024 will be the year of Web3's grand awakening, a critical step for Web3 to reach its full potential and achieve mass global adoption. And the big thing is, I do think that majority of the space is going to be shocked by a lot of the information that is behind closed doors right now when it comes to Ethereum and ETHgate. I also think that a lot of people will be surprised by how centralized Bitcoin actually is. It's kind of like when everyone was making the argument around how XRP can't go to a certain price or can't do a certain thing because of the supply ratio. And they mainly compare it back to Bitcoin because of the scarcity. In this case, scarcity becomes a big focus point. Is it a negative or a positive when you have a name like BlackRock that has an ETF that is probably, I would argue that a lot of these big names like BlackRock, JP Morgan, they were investing into Bitcoin and even Ethereum initially. I mean, hell, look at, you have JP Morgan that is running private blockchain-based technology on Ethereum. They were in since the inception, which Joseph Lubin even said. And when we think about that, we're like, imagine all of these big names and imagine how much of the supply or, how much is in the hands of these big names like BlackRock, for an example, that continue to control a large portion of things outside of crypto as well. When we talk about centralization, I always bring it up because when you have something like Bitcoin that is extremely scarce and you have the largest name out there like BlackRock, launching an ETF, talking heavily about Bitcoin. I really do think that that's where we should be concerned. And I've talked about this. They will be the largest percentage holder of Bitcoin. I strongly believe that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you guys did enjoy the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join for Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.